Hey everyone, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how to set up your Bollinger Bands and more importantly, which settings you guys should be using depending on your own trading style. Whether you guys are long-term investors, swing traders, or day traders, I'm going to help you guys break down the best settings for your Bollinger Bands so you guys can get the most accurate signals and get the most money from the market. This is going to work for those of you guys that like to trade stocks, crypto, forex, and commodities. So if you guys trade any of those and you guys are trying to find out how to use Bollinger Bands and what the settings you should be using are, you found the right video. All right, now let's get started. But before that, please give the video and this channel a subscribe if you guys can. Go over to indicators, metrics, and strategies and just type in the word BOLL. That's the beginning of Bollinger Bands. If you go here under technicals, it's going to be right there as the fourth option. If you guys feel like you may use this quite a bit, which I recommend that you guys do if you want to be looking at some of those trades, go over here and give it a gold star and it'll add it to your favorites list. All right. Next up, go to Bollinger Bands and click on that one time. You're going to see it look just like this. And now we have an optional step, I would say. Most of us are looking at our charts at 100% zoom. For this video, I'm at 175, but sometimes it's hard for me to kind of see that. So what I'm going to do, and again, this is 100% optional, go over to the settings, go to style, and for the basis, upper and lower lines, just make them as thick as possible or as thick as you want to. Some people don't like to change the basis, but they want to change the upper and the lower. It's all up to you. I put everything as thick as possible just to make it a little bit easier for myself, especially when I have like 5 or 6 charts on my screen at one time. I want to be able to see everything without having to squint and really get down in there, right? After that, you're going to hit OK, and this is your default settings for the Bollinger Bands. You can see it's giving you support levels, it's giving you some resistance levels over here. It's working to a degree, right? But we can do a lot better. And this is where I already have the preset settings that I want to give you guys that I've used over the past and that can be used quite a bit. Now, again, it can work with stocks, forex, cryptocurrency, commodities, you name it. But you always have to go back and test it to see how accurate it has been with that particular one. Sometimes it works really well with big tech, but it might work horrible with banks. You just have to go and back test it, all right? Now, for long-term investors out there, here are the settings I would recommend using. For the length, go to 50. For the basis MA type, you can keep this at SMA, although you can always double check to see if it works better with the EMAs, okay? For now, I'm going to keep it to SMA. This is really meant for those of you guys who are looking at weekly charts and monthly charts. So what'll happen usually is we'll pop up above it on a daily chart, but by the end of the week, we may be back down below it. So again, this is meant for weekly and monthly chart holders. Next up, source, keep it as close. And for the standard deviation, keep this as a number 3, okay? Or put it as a number 3. Next up, hit OK. And this is your chart here for the weekly and monthlies. I'm using a day chart. Bitcoin does not use this quite well, so I would say most of you guys are just going to be using the next option that I give you, and that's because Bitcoin is very, very volatile. Not every stock out there goes down, you know, like 78% during a nasty market. Bitcoin is its own thing, so if you guys want to use these numbers, I actually like to use them as resistance levels. Resistance, resistance, resistance. It works very, very well, especially during a bull market. Finding those levels is really beautiful. Next up here, what I'd say is go back over to the daily chart for me, hit auto again so you guys can see what's going on. And this is where I think most of you guys are going to be using right here. This one is for swing traders who are going to be using the 4-hour charts and the daily charts. This is by far my favorite one. All right. Now, for the length, you guys are going to go back to 20. And for the standard deviation, you're going to be keeping it as 2. And you're going to be like, whoa, those are the same settings as the default ones. Yes, they are. However, there's a big difference I'm about to show you guys here. You can see how this one is not really hitting that line and this one is dipping down just a little bit below, and I want to have just a little bit more of an accurate signal. So for this one, you got to change it from basis MA type to from SMA, the moving averages, back over here to EMA, and you guys are going to see the difference. See how it's hitting that line now? SMA, a little bit off. EMA, everything's a little bit easier, a little bit more accurate, which means you guys get more accurate signals and you guys can buy and sell at better times. For example, there are people who like to buy at the support levels and then sell at the resistance levels of the bands during a bullish trend, which we're looking at right now. Let's say you're using the SMA and it pops up here, right? And then you don't sell because you think it's still going to go a little bit higher. Next couple of days, it starts to fall and fall and fall. So instead of buying here and selling up here, you're buying here and selling over here, which means you're not making as much profit as you could have. And that means you may be holding a minor bag where you kind of keep on waiting and waiting and waiting. instead of just taking that money, moving on to the next trade and kind of growing your portfolio more and more quickly, if you will, right? So that's going to be the settings for the day traders here. Then after we do all this, of course, I'll break down a strategy for you guys to use. Excuse me. Now for the day traders, these are for you guys that are using the 1 hour charts or the 15-minute charts, primarily the 15-minute, 30-minute, 45-minute hour charts. That's kind of my sweet spot here. And for these, what you guys are going to be using is the 10 for length, and a standard deviation you guys are going to be using for 1.5. Now, when it comes to this, I'll go to the 15-minute chart on this one as an example here. There's a few things you can do. You can see it's actually working out pretty well. It's giving you support and resistance levels and things like that, right? So if you guys want to scalp a little bit, have some fun there, you're more than welcome to do that. Bitcoin is always volatile, so it may not look as fun to you, but you guys can change it up a little bit. You guys can also go from EMA to SMA if you like the way that looks a little bit better, or you guys can go to the VWAP right here, the volume weighted moving average, if you feel like that helps you out a little bit more. Regardless, each one of these for day trading, because everything trades a little bit different, especially stocks, because the market is literally closed for parts of the day, right? Where crypto is open 24/7. You guys actually have to go in here and look at SMA, EMA, see which one has been working the best. In this example for Bitcoin, it looks like the EMA is working best. Then you can trade off of that. But you have to do that extra step because the volatility really does impact how you guys are going to trade. So that requires a little bit of work on your part, okay? But those are the settings that you guys are supposed to be using. For now, I'm going to go back to 20 EMA and then 2 for the standard deviation here. And what I'm going to do is go over to the 4-hour chart, and I'm going to show you guys some momentum things that you guys can do. In fact, let's go to the daily chart here. And what I already have set up here is a few oscillators. So you got the MACD, a customized stochastic, and an RSI right here. The beauty of what I would say the Bollinger Bands is giving you a precise time to try to buy a reversal. Then you have the confidence that the token is going to move higher, so you can actually adjust to where you sell it, knowing you already got it at a good buying opportunity. So let's go back in time here a little bit. You can see right here, everything turned red. So we had the bearish MACD, the bearish stochastic, and the bearish RSI. And you can see that happened to be right here. Which date was this? It's August 17th, right? So at this point, I already have a feeling that everything is going to be coming down with Bitcoin's price action because all of that momentum is coming down. But what you also see is we've also just broken down below the median of the Bollinger Bands right here. So from that, I can say, okay, we're below the halfway point. We're already below. We've already hit our high. I'm going to open up a short right here, and I'm going to try to sell it next time it hits the Bollinger Band. All right. So your stop loss for this may be over here or up here, more likely just this last little pop, because again, the Bollinger Band is right there also being a level of resistance. And then you're looking to sell the next time you hit this green line. And you're waiting to make sure that all this stays bearish during that time. So you could have opened up a short right here, got all of this movement until it hit right there a few days later, about a week later. You sell, you can see it's still bearish, of course, but that's not the point. You made a good trade. By doing that trade, you made money right there, okay? So let's back up a little bit here. Let's get rid of that white line. And let's go to the next one. You can see right here, everything was green. Bullish, bullish, bullish right there. Everything turned bullish right there. So we already know it's above the halfway. The momentum is carrying us higher. So you guys could buy right here and sell at the red. Again, it went higher than the red, sure. But again, you bought right here, you sold right there, and you're happy to take that profit. Always be happy to give what the market, take what the market gives you, excuse me. If you guys get greedy, that does not bode well for you at all. You can see right here, we went bearish again. Right there, we were above the median. So because we're above the median here and we're a little bit choppy on the stochastic, you're most likely only going to be shorting this back down here to the support level. Now, it goes down below that support level. Awesome, that's great. But you're going to probably short right here and close the position right there. Next time it happens, everything is still bearish, bearish, bearish right here. Where we are right here when we close down below it. So if you wanted to, you can open up another one since we've broken down and try to close it right here the next day. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. If I go to the 4-hour chart, you can always try to do this in another way, of course. But primarily, you can see we were actually bullish in this one, bullish, bullish, like it was choppy. So you might not do it on the 4-hour chart. You're waiting for that breakdown right there. It's already hitting the level, so you're probably not going to use this one for this particular chart, right? But go back to the daily. Again, you can make that money, especially with leverage, by shorting and playing that next day. It doesn't have to be a very, very long trade. That's not how it's supposed to be. You're just supposed to say, hey, the market's telling me to buy right now and it's telling me to sell right here. I'll do that. I'll make my 3, 4, 5%, and I'll just hop out the market, because if you're trading with leverage, especially 10x leverage, 5x leverage, that 5, 10% can turn into a lot very, very quickly. Next up right here with the momentum right there, bullish signal right there above. You're going to wait till we hit that level right there. Stop loss is right there. Guess what? It was rocky, but it hit that level right up here, and you can start to sell. And if you feel like it didn't hit that level, you can wait a little bit longer, of course. But again, it's up to you to eyeball to say, oh yeah, what about this? Oh yeah, there's a resistance level right here. Maybe I don't need to hold it above that, right? You can add all those different things you've learned about trading into using the Bollinger Bands, which I think is going to be a very great thing for you guys to learn and become more advanced traders using these types of strategies. Now, you can see there's times where we're seeing a little bit of a move right here where it's bouncing up like that and everything is bullish. And you can already see, but why would you buy at the Bollinger Band itself? Why would you buy there? It's a resistance level. Why would you buy? So again, it helps filter out some of those things. Oh yeah, we're bullish right here, but we're at the Bollinger Band. Why would you buy the Bollinger Band? Back and forth, it doesn't really make sense to do a lot of those things. So please understand that. A lot of times it'll help you figure out the momentum is still strong, you're still doing great. Like the MACD is telling you to buy, the RSI is telling you it's okay. The stochastic is giving you a little bit of a warning right over here that something could be up. And you can see the MACD almost went bearish for a second. But again, that momentum was still there. So if you wanted to open up that trade, you're still more than likely to do so with a long, not a short, but you have to have a stop loss that's probably right around there just in case it falls down. You don't really have to risk too much because you already know everything is pretty much bullish here, bearish here, but the stochastic is giving you the momentum. And if you guys like change of characters and that type of stuff, you can see there's a bullish change of character telling you to buy way back over here as well. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I think it's a great way to help you guys trade and learn how to trade. I would say Bollinger Bands primarily are meant for swing traders. And then after that, they're meant for longer term investors. And they are the weakest to me when it comes to, crazy fast traders like to day trade on the 1 minute charts, 5 minute charts, 15 minute charts. It's a little bit more unreliable there because you have to tweak little things and really find out what's working for your individual stock or cryptocurrency, which is good if you know how to do that. But most people don't want to take the time to do that. And because they don't, they usually just stick to the settings I tell you. And it's not going to work as great if you don't go and back test and see how it's been working. Okay. So again, please make sure to give the video a subscribe, or the channel a subscribe, the video a like, and I appreciate you guys a lot for joining me for today. Thanks.